Hey, Ange.
Hey Les, how you doing?
Good. Well, here we are, another episode of Black Boomer Besties from Brooklyn. I'm
Yes.
Leslie, and my bestie of nearly 50 years over there is Angela. Hi, I jumped in and did the introduction,
You see,
part of the
you
introduction.
see what she does to me, and so let me see if I remember her side of it.
Exactly, because now it throws you off, right?
Listen, I've got so many things to keep organized in my head. Anything I can take off the list, I'm grateful for.
Okay.
Um, so go ahead, go ahead. If you go ahead, what are we
That
going to
I
talk
I'm
about?
I'm just smiling right now because I remember in our very first podcast when I was so nervous, I said,
So we
"I'm
gotta play it for the
Angela,"
people.
and you looked at me like, "What did you just say?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I'm not Angela. I'm Leslie."
I'm gonna
That
try
was
to
a long
find
time
that.
ago. Yeah, we
I'm
gotta
gonna
find it.
I'm
That's
gonna
all.
try to find that and have if I can, I'm gonna have it
That's
edited
on
in.
our blooper reels. But anyway, go ahead.
Hilarious.
I'm turning it back over to you, pal.
Hello. Welcome to a new episode of Black Boomer Besties from Brooklyn. My name is Angela, and that's
Leslie.
my best friend of almost 50 years. We're gonna have a big celebration at 50. Um, we are two intellectually curious older Black women. And we started this podcast to share our journey of getting to know each other better, ourselves better, getting to know the world better, um, being very comfortable with our anger, being very comfortable with wanting to change some things that we see in the world that we believe needs changing. And we have some very interesting conversations and interesting guests. So, what do you want the people to do, Leslie? Wait, before you do that. And today, we're going to be talking about is kind of an extension of what we talked about last week. Last
Mhm.
week, I talked about some drama that went on when I was downsizing um, from a large house to a smaller apartment. And Leslie's going through that experience now, and she has some tools that hopefully will help her to go through the process. And so we're going to be talking about what is helping her, other than me and me coming up to her home and helping her to go through her stuff. She also has another resource. And so that's what we're going to be talking about this week. And what do you
Yes.
want to
So
ask the
what
people to
I'd
do?
like you to do is press like and subscribe because I want you all to be aware of all the times we drop new content. I want you to click on notifications so you knew when we're presenting new things to you. And then tell a friend or two because I think that they'll be happy that you did.
Awesome. All right. So, okay,
Downsizing.
downsizing. And actually, before even getting to the point where you have to downsize, we're going to be talking about consumerism and how all the stuff got accumulated in the first place. And I attended the Exodus Summit back in October with Stephanie Perry and Rashida Dow. And they had
No
one of the
orange book.
speakers
Oh,
um,
thank
is
you.
kind of the I want to call her the queen of minimalism, but it's called Afrominimalism. And so since I knew my bestie was going through the thing, I got her a copy, and she's been reading through it, and she is gonna share some of what she's learning around how we accumulate. Like,
Yeah.
Les, what? What
So
happened?
first, I want to show everyone the book. It's called An
There it is.
Afro-Minimalist's Guide to Living with Less by Christine Platt. And it's really helpful. Shall I just go into a little bit a summary about the
Well,
book right now
well,
or
before you do that, I noticed I was looking at the cover, and it's cotton on the cover.
significant? Yes.
Yeah, and there may be some significance in why she chose it, but what it triggered for me, it triggered in a good way, is this person that I had heard about, his name is Julius Tillery. He's
Mhm.
a young farmer. His family has been farming in North Carolina for generations.
Mhm.
Um, and he has this company called Black Cotton. And his desire is to change the narrative around cotton and what it means to um, uh, African Americans and kind of putting it on its spin, like we do. We do that in owning our black, right? Owning the fact
Yeah.
that black was looked at as a negative term, and now we proudly say that we're black. So just kind of
Mhm.
wanting to shift the narrative around how we think about cotton and seeing it as this sustainable product that can be produced by black folks. So,
Mhm.
Les, so yeah,
And
we'll put
and
links to him.
and Christine Platt, um, put cotton on the cover, actually. She has a live cotton, plant
Mm.
in her home, or a bowl of it, as a reminder of some
Oh
of the
wow.
passages that our enslaved ancestors
Right.
have been, and
Right.
some of the things that they've actually touched,
Mm.
um,
Mm-hmm.
years and years
Mm-hmm.
ago, but it's
Yeah,
a reminder for her. So,
it's
yeah,
great.
yeah, we need to reframe some of those things that are, and recall why they're meaningful to us as a
Right.
cultural,
Right. Right.
piece, and
Right.
as a people, rather
Right.
than adopt some of the negative things that others have defined or
Right.
put in place for us.
Right. Or let go. Let
Or
go
let
of the
go, yeah.
negativity and not kind of throw away the baby with the bathwater. Of course, there is um, great pain associated with cotton,
Yeah.
um, and it's in our language. The high cotton and just all of that stuff. But I think I love when there is a shift in the way that we think
Mhm.
about things and kind of the uh, regaining power from things that are
Yeah.
used to diminish us.
Yeah,
Anyway,
and also, a recognition of not just the hardship of that entity, but some of the triumphs and
mm,
the positive things that have come
right,
about these things,
right,
keeping families together, or the
mm,
struggle together, or,
yep,
moving on,
yep,
through, past a hard time. There are a lot of
right,
ways to think about things.
right, right. Including it was through cotton that America became this powerful nation in the world. It was because of cotton and free labor, of course,
Mhm.
and the discoveries around the cotton gin and things like that.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
enough about that. It was on the cover, so it got all this
Yep,
stuff
yeah.
going. But tell us what's inside the book. How about that?
So I haven't finished the book. I think I'm halfway through it.
Mm-hmm.
And man, have I underlined some things or whatever. Now, this has come about for me. One, I experienced it with my bestie over the last 5 years or so when she sold her large home and moved into a smaller setting. But I recently left a larger home and I'm living smaller. And I'm also moving around a little bit. So I need a smaller footprint. And when I was packing up my home to move, where did all of this come from?
Yeah. It looks different when it goes into boxes
It
than being
looks
spread out.
different. It looks different. I always thought that I've always been very organized,
Yeah.
and I don't like a lot of tchotchkes and not
Mhm.
a lot of stuff.
Mhm.
But I also am gadget girl. So I
Yes.
have
She
every
is.
kitchen gadget for every
Everyone.
little thing. I have
Everyone.
maybe a zester that works this way, then I have the other type of zester, then I have this, so it's just like it's when I've really packed up things, well, I mean, I have been on the planet more than 60 years, so
Yeah.
it is okay to accumulate things,
Right,
but when
right.
I looked at it all together, it really made me sad, and it was embarrassing.
Mm. Oh, wow.
I
Wow.
was embarrassed.
Mm.
because I believe that I'm a socially conscious person.
Yeah.
um, I look at myself as a humanitarian, and I
Mhm.
think and I've traveled the world, so I
Mhm.
do know what lack looks like.
Mm.
I have also, been raised with not a lot of resources, single
Mhm.
parenting, and I've
Mhm.
been a single parent early on.
Mhm.
So I
Mhm.
also did not have the resources for all of this overabundance that I now, quote unquote, enjoy.
Mm.
It's now this albatross around my neck, and it's
Mm.
a reminder of this excess mentality,
Mm. Mhm.
more and more because I can
Right.
over the
Right.
years, and I'm ashamed of it now. I
Mm.
kind of want
Wow.
to, I put things in storage, but I wish that I never had to go back in there.
Oh, wow.
I don't want to look
Wow.
at it anymore,
Wow.
especially because I've been living for the last probably year or more with
Mhm.
less on a
Yeah.
much smaller scale, and
Yeah.
I've been doing okay.
You've been doing okay.
I've been doing
Yeah.
okay without the
Yeah.
every single type of mixer
Ri
and this and every gadget. I just baked cakes for Thanksgiving, and guess what? I stirred the batter by hand.
No. You could do that? People do that? No.
Exactly. Exactly. So why do I have one of these expensive KitchenAid mixers in every one of
Mhm.
my homes?
Mm.
Why? You
Mm.
know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm
So
going
yeah.
through this reckoning that's a little embarrassing, you
Ooh,
know.
ouch.
Yeah.
What is, what did Christine talk about in terms of, like, where does she suggest this comes from as Black
Well,
folks?
it starts out innocently enough. I mean, there are parallels as anybody can understand. It comes from you spend a lot of your early time with education and
Mhm.
struggling and
Mhm.
striving.
Mhm.
She too was a single parent early on.
Mm.
And when she became professionally where she wanted to be and was making a salary,
Mhm.
you know, you always, as a single parent, have this feeling that I'm neglecting my children.
Mhm.
It's this mindset that we have.
Mm.
The balance. Am I giving my child enough while I'm striving for my own personal thing? So
Mhm.
she too felt that when I had the financial safety net
Mhm.
and the good salary, now I can provide for this
Mm.
child and give her
Mm.
toys and make
Mm.
up for the things that I've lacked.
I see.
And
Okay.
then too for yourself when you have gone to college and then postgraduate school and
Mhm.
professional school and what
Mhm.
have you, you have this income that, well, I've sacrificed for so
Mm.
long.
Mhm.
As my mother would always say, you deserve it.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I grew up with the "you deserve it" mentality,
Wow.
whether or not it put us, back in, some gave us some financial difficulty.
Mm. Mhm.
If you wanna
Mhm.
have a luxury car,
Right.
you deserve it, and if whatever you have to do to get it,
Mm.
that's what you should do.
I see.
And
Okay.
I
Right.
think it was also served with a large heaping of keeping up with the Joneses.
Mm. Mhm. Mhm.
Obviously, that
Right.
figures well in my professional life, so I can
Yeah.
talk about
Yeah.
that a little bit later,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Before we started recording, Leslie, I forget what you said, but I'm like, I I didn't that wasn't my background. I didn't come from that background. I think much of what I accumulated was because I had 3 children and because, on and off, one or both parents, lived with me. Um, but I don't, and you correct me if I'm wrong, I don't, kind of have this consumerism type,
Mm.
bent. I think maybe it's because,
Is that your telephone ringing?
yeah, but it's on silent. Do you hear it?
You're very well.
What do you hear?
Mm,
Oh, okay. I
mm,
I picked it up off the table, so
mm.
it's not vibrating. Um,
But
and
yeah, you said you did not have that
no, the things that
consumerism gene.
right,
Maybe
right.
it's an American thing.
Well, I'll say the things that I had a lot of is because I'm a creative, so I would have a lot of fabric. I had a lot of
Mhm.
yarn. I had a lot of things that I know that I could make something with.
Craft
So
stuff and yeah,
craft stuff. I had closets and closets
sewing and
of that type of thing.
that's how
So
we bonded
that's how we
over
bonded.
our craft stuff and
So it
sewing.
was it was more it was more that and not maybe not throwing away everything that had lost its
Mhm.
intended usefulness because I knew that there was something I could jerry rig to
Yeah, you've
make
always been
into
into the
that.
recycle, reuse, which is
Yeah,
great. You
yeah,
actually got
yeah,
me into doing that.
yeah. But it's still accumulation, but it looked very, very different. So I don't know. Maybe I don't know if it's if it's an American thing necessarily, but it may be coming from a society where um, you know, it was easy to y
Mhm.
get things that you
Mhm.
want. I didn't come from a run to the store kind of background.
Yeah, and I find that when I travel in other countries where they live on a much smaller, simpler scale, but
Mhm,
they do
mhm.
fine and they
Right,
have seemingly whatever they need.
right, right, right.
I understand people in other cultures, when the shoe heel goes down, they take it to have the heel replaced rather
Mhm.
than toss it and buying another pair.
Right, right,
So it
definitely.
is a different mentality.
Yeah.
I'll tell you two of the things that have been a problem for me
Mhm,
is one, having enough money to buy things. And I
mhm,
unlike some other people that I've heard about or read about, and unlike Christine, I
mhm.
didn't spend money that I didn't have. So I didn't go
Okay.
into debt to
Right,
to get things.
right, right.
Because I have a good income,
Yep.
I can pay my bills and put money
Right,
for savings, but
right,
also have enough money to buy whatever it
right,
is that I
right,
want.
right.
That and when you have enough room to put things in storage,
Yeah.
it's a recipe for
It's like
disaster.
it's like, what's the problem? I can put it in the basement, or I
But,
can,
yeah, but
mhm,
in thinking about that, I know you know for the last and maybe even the listeners know for the last few years, I don't like Christmas season.
right,
And I realize that one of the reasons I'm so turned off against it is about because it's so purchase and consumer
mm,
focused.
mhm,
And
mhm,
I've said over the last people who know me know, like, I really don't want any gifts.
right,
You
right,
know, not that I don't appreciate the thought behind it, but
mhm,
I'm blessed enough to say anything I want, I
yeah,
have.
yeah, yeah,
And everything that I need, I
mhm,
have.
mhm,
So anything extra is just
mhm,
extra. And
mm,
I'm really trying to tamp down on the extra.
mhm,
You know?
got it,
It's really
got it,
starting to get me down.
yep. Les, I have to say that another part of it is you have such a, um you enjoy creating spaces that are very accommodating for guests in your home. I'm the
Mhm.
same way, but different, right? Because it's different. Like if you um so you're gonna have every type of liquor, every type of bitters, every type of gadget to make mixed drink,
Yeah.
every type of glass
Yeah.
for the type of drink
For
that
each
you
drink
pref
has its own
each
glass.
one.
Come on.
You can't
Come
put it in a
on.
wine glass,
No,
right, so you're gonna have a martini glass. You even brought me martini glasses. When am I making
I
martinis?
did.
They're pretty, but,
I know you
um,
like tequila, so,
so
you know.
that is true. So, that's the thing, like, and I could see over the years because you're doing this entertaining, it just starts to accumulate.
Yeah,
The stuff in
yeah.
the backyard, the
And I was just
you
looking, I
know
have so many serving platters. And how
yes,
many
that.
cheese boards do you need? And I have wooden ones, I
That
have
is a big
marble
part of
ones,
it.
I
You're
have
entertaining.
this, and I have the cheese slices with the handles and and it's like, for goodness sake, it
Yeah.
really we can laugh about it,
Right,
but as
right.
I said in the last episode, I
Yeah.
literally will need to get rid of 50% of the things that I own.
Wow. Wow.
And
Wow.
I need help to do that.
Yeah.
And I don't ever want to accumulate these kind of things because what
Yeah.
I've realized over the last year or so is that I want to be able to move around
Mhm.
without the burden of
Mhm.
lugging, moving,
Right.
storing this and
Right.
that.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking too that as we get older, whatever we leave will become our children's problem. Do you know what I mean? And they may
Yeah.
not want all the cheese slicers, right? They may have their own. It may not be of interest to them to have all of
Right.
these. So it really
Yeah.
becomes their issue, unless
Yeah.
we deal with
Yeah.
it.
And we don't want to leave that type of we don't want to leave that for our children.
No, no,
Yeah.
it's not fair.
Yeah.
Are you comfortable talking a little bit more about you use the term um, that you were embarrassed? Like, can you talk about that a little bit if you're comfortable?
Well, I think that the reason why I'm embarrassed per se, and I'm just gonna put on my do not disturb because I'm getting some messages coming through. The
Okay.
reason that I'm somewhat embarrassed is because I've seen the way other people and cultures
Mm,
live.
okay.
Um,
Okay.
as when I was doing medical missionary work, I
Mm,
was going around the world to
yeah.
areas where people didn't have the
Mm-hmm.
resources, the health and medical resources that we have here, and the
Uh-huh,
things that
uh-huh.
they reuse just in terms
Mm,
of medical equipment that we
okay.
just toss,
Mm,
and we toss it because the government agencies force us single use only. There's
mm,
nothing wrong with it, but it has
mm-hmm,
to be a single use or it has to be handled in certain ways
mm-hmm,
that in other places they can be safely reused, but we
mm-hmm.
don't do that here. So
Right.
coming back that transition from being in these places to the way
Mhm.
that we use things, it's like, come on, we
Mm,
can do better.
right,
We can
right.
do better. If I open
Mhm.
up my closet and I'm like, come on, Les.
Mm,
I wear clothes to work for 10 minutes and then I wear scrubs all day long. Do I
mhm,
really need?
mhm.
Yeah.
Can I mention here, the time you went to work with 2 different pair of, boots, like ankle-high black boots that were so similar that you didn't notice that they were 2
That they
different
were 2
ones,
different
and then
boots. And I was walking like this during the day. They were different heel heights. You see, we can laugh about it, but it
it's just
really, come
yeah,
on.
mhm,
I can do
mhm.
better. I can do
Okay.
better.
So, you've already asked me, and I don't know if I officially, um, committed to
Committed
it,
to
but
helping me? Oh, you did
yes.
already. You did.
Oh, did
You're
I?
good at
Oh,
this. I wanna
okay.
mention one other thing. I think that this acquisition of stuff is the
Mhm,
way that I'll say, AOS,
mhm, mhm.
acquisition of stuff, because it's not just clothing. I do it
Yeah.
with grocery shopping because I
Mm,
have every spice you could want,
yeah, yeah.
and I so it's not just clothing, it's not
Mhm.
just kitchenware, it's not
Yeah,
just food. I
right.
think that I think it's almost feels like it's in my genes that when
Mm,
generations past
mm.
could not afford, 3 different cuts of beef or
Yeah,
whatever, or,
yeah.
when they had to more make do and,
Mm,
use things from in multiple ways.
mhm.
Again, when you're able to, physically afford some of these things,
Yeah,
you think and you have room for it, you think, "Why
right,
not?" I
right.
mean, we bought a what is it, a 84-inch, 7-foot tall free refrigerator?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
You know what I
And you had the
mean?
freezer.
Oh, but it
Y
was
y
lovely. It was lovely because it opened up and had a backlight and the inside was black and this.
Very
And it's
nice.
like, Les,
Very nice.
come on.
It was very nice.
You know,
So Les, you also, tend not to throw things away, meaning,
yeah.
like, you give things away.
Yeah,
You
I
give
give, but I
things
keep
away.
things a long time.
Right. I mean, you have some things that are 30 years
Oh,
old
yeah.
easily
Yeah.
in your closet on rotation.
And still, yeah. Yeah. So it's not all wasted,
Right.
but it's some wasted.
But it still shows a collection even
It
though
still
it's like,
shows, and yeah, yeah, because again, it's just so many things, and only when things were out of their normal neat
mm,
storage areas, out of the
mhm,
closet and put
mhm,
together and
mhm,
boxed up and all of
mhm,
this that I
mhm.
realize is like,
Wow. Yeah.
where is this going and whose this is and
Yeah.
why? And this is not what you want to carry into your. I don't want to be an elderly woman with all of this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so
Yeah.
when do you become elderly? Like,
I
when?
got about 15 good years.
Okay, so let's
So we
start.
can go, well, let's just start. Let's just start one by one.
Hopefully, it won't take us as long as it did to read through
And
the
and
Bible.
here's the other thing though. Here's the other thing
Yeah.
that is really moving me into minimizing in this way.
Mhm.
I want to be surrounded by things that I love.
Yeah.
I'm very much into curating my spaces and
Mhm.
the things that I set my eyes on every day.
Mhm. Mhm.
And the way that my home smells, I'm into
Mhm.
candles and different
Mhm.
scents. So I and feeling and textures and things
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
I wanna curate spaces that I walk in and I love them like a
Okay.
sanctuary, not
Right.
just your bedroom, but every
Right.
space.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
use pots and cookware that
Yeah.
is beautiful. I
Right.
love it. The
Right.
tops are all, they're not scratched up. You know,
Right.
that's how I want to feel across everything. And I'm
Mm.
just saying that it doesn't have to be abundant in
Right.
order to get that feeling,
Got you.
and
Got
that's what
you.
I'm striving for. Less is
Okay.
more, but
Yeah.
everything that I have in my space, I want to love it.
And purposeful. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
I collect art, and it's the
Yeah.
same thing. I mean, I have too much art to put on walls, but that's
Mhm.
why I can rotate them and all,
Yeah.
because they're
Yeah.
pieces that have represented where I've traveled in the world, what I
Mhm.
felt like different times in my life, and I think
Right.
they're beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Well, it's going to be it's going to be a thing, and you will be sharing it with us. You our public, as Leslie says. You will be hearing about it. You will be seeing some shenanigans as we go through it. You'll probably see some tears as things come up. But we will take you on the journey with us when that
Yes,
happens
I
in
think
probably in a
so.
few months.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we have to,
Okay.
because right now I'm paying for storage space.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Yeah. Okay.
mm-mm.
We're gonna nip that in the bud. Okay.
Yeah.
So can I tell you that I got I got a house sit. I won't say where,
Ah.
but I got a house sit through Trusted House Sitters. It's a part of, I'm a diehard Exodus Summit Stephanie Perry fan.
Mhm.
And
You
so
fangirl.
I am a part of the Trusted House Sitters group, and I just booked my house sit for Christmas. I will not be with my children. They are going to be together, but without mom as I explore a little bit.
Wow.
And yeah, it just got confirmed before we
Oh,
started,
that's
so I'm really
nice.
excited about that. And now
I
it's kind of like a nerve. It's a nervous excitement. It's
Uh-huh.
What did you put those 2 words together, I forget it. I forgot what you,
I don't know what you mean.
nerve-sighted or ex something. Um, it's that feeling, but it's a part of me, moving abroad journey is understanding house sitting and using that when I go different places to save money and to make it possible to go more places
And
because,
date cities.
and date cities. So I'm gonna be
Yes.
looking at house sitting and pet sitting, as I travel around, the world and find my next place. So
I'm
that's
jealous about
it.
you being able to be around pets. I miss my dog.
Oh, well, I haven't done it yet.
Yeah, but,
I
I would
miss
love to
yeah,
be able to
yeah.
foster, but,
Listen,
or
Leslie,
get another dog or something.
do
No,
you
I'm
not
not.
think that you're gonna be coming with me on some of the house sits? You can't think that that's not
But I'm working, I
Leslie,
gotta
I don't
yeah,
you
like, I don't
cannot
have
think.
time, right.
You
Okay,
cannot
I'm
think.
in, I'm in, I'm in.
You're in.
All right,
Absolutely,
so
you're in.
here's the thing. I'll go
Yeah.
with you on house sits, and you
Yes.
come with me, and let's sit in this storage room and get stuff out. How about that? Let's
That's a
storage sit.
That's a deal. You will sign on the dotted line to pet sit house sit with me, and then I will come up and take care of that.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, babe. Good chatting with you.
Okay.
Thanks
Nice
for
chatting with you
sharing.
too. Well, this has been another episode of Black Boomer Besties from Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.